So I've been replaying all the Assassin's Creed games from the beginning. And the next up was Assassin's Creed 3, The Tyranny of King Washington. If you're not familiar with this is a DLC, alternate version, what if story that follows what would happen if George Washington didn't step down as president and just basically got an apple of Eden and became a king. It is an extremely interesting story, especially how it deals with Connor, which I cannot pronounce his Mohawk native name, so I'll be calling him Connor from here on out. Um, Basically, dealing with this new alternate version, and he seems to have knowledge that this stuff is not how it's supposed to be. But before I get into the pros and cons, there will be spoilers. I will be talking about spoiler heavy parts of this DLC, so if you don't want any spoilers, like this video, come back. But with that out of the way, let's go to the cons first. Now, because this DLC is only in 3 episodes, it's actually relatively short. So I really don't have many cons. I'm just nitpicking at best. So as I have here, getting the wolf power is awful. The whole sequence of getting that power is terrible, but being able to use it in combat is such an ease for stealth. As you see, it's going to be a lot of good, bad, because there's not a lot of bad things in this game. Getting the eagle power, it's a fine sequence, but it'll be the power that you'll probably use, or if you're like me, mostly use throughout the entire game. It really helps with traversal and stuff like that. And then your final power you get is the ability to summon a bear spirit. And it is super simple, slams the ground. I do love the imagery of how you get the power is pulling these like light spears out of a giant bear. At least that's a fun imagery, for how to get the abilities, particularly the bear ability. But that's really it for cons, so the rest of this video is probably going to be pros and maybe 1 or 2 cons that I think of on the fly. On to the pros. As I said, most of this game is genuinely just entertaining. So, the first part, titled Infamy, did a great job establishing this what-if alternate scenario, and it really showed this very humble, honorable guy like George Washington becoming the Mad King when he possesses the Apple of Eden. Does a great job to set up the whole thing. Seeing Connor lose everything is brutal, but sets up the rampage for revenge great. Honestly, that's kind of all you need. Start the story, show you how differently this timeline is, and point Connor's rampage in a direction. And I think he does a great job of doing that. The wolf ability, as I said in the cons, it's great for making stealth much easier. At any moment, you could basically go invisible for a certain amount of time, but I do want to preference all these animal abilities. While you're using them, your health drops. So that means you can't use it forever, but to get to different hiding spots with the wolf ability is extremely beneficial. And also, some of them have other abilities, like the wolf. When you activate its ability, it calls on a pack of 3 other wolves that can attack the enemies, help even the odds, which, if you're going to fight a lot of the enemies, you're going to use it a whole lot. So I enjoyed that. The eagle power is straight up just a Batman grappling hook, but cooler. It basically allows you to almost teleport. You turn into the spirit of an eagle, and you fly to certain points that you're aiming at. So it makes traveling just an absolute breeze. And another thing that's probably my favorite thing about it is the eagle assassinations, as you'll see here. They are dope. Basically, if they're within range and there's 2 of them, you can do an eagle assassination and take them both out pretty quietly, or you can just take one out. But being able to basically have a long distance assassination is extremely cool. The last one I have on here is the bear power. Like I said in the cons, it's very simple. Summon a giant bear, smack the ground, does a lot of damage. But it takes a lot of your health away. So I did not use it a ton, but if you're surrounded by 6 or 7 enemies that are closing on you, and you're having trouble with the counters, you're probably going to use the bear ability. The only thing that I did not write down for cons, I did not enjoy the boss battle. with King Washington. Now that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the overall like presentation of it. The cutscenes, what your characters are doing during those scenes are pretty awesome. But the fight itself is a little tedious. It's very, oh, use this one ability. Okay, now use this ability. Now use this ability. But, you know, the grand concept of it was really cool. And overall, I just really liked the Tyranny of King Washington. I think it's a really fun alternate version of the timeline. Um, as I said, there are spoilers, but I'm going to go an even deeper spoiler. I'll wait. But the ending, when you realize that this whole DLC is a vision to Connor and Washington about what, or at least with Washington, I assume it's for both, what is happening and what could happen if he keeps the apple. And I like that George realizes that's the bad thing, and he's like, no, I don't want this. Connor, get rid of this. I think it's a really cool thing to set up that, you know, keeps in line with the, you know, humble, honorable George Washington that most historians know. But if you're a fan of Assassin's Creed and you want to see Connor at his absolute most badass, very superhuman like, almost a superhero at this point, and his outfit clean. You enjoyed Assassin's Creed 3 and you want to have even more fun and feel more formidable, definitely check out the Tyranny of King Washington. Have you played this one? If you have, let me know in the comments. I would love to see what you guys thought of it.